What's going on, guys? Fangblitz here with the Apoleia Gamers, and today I'm going to be showing you a couple replays and then a deck profile for this deck that I created. It's a 60 card version of Cyber Dragons. Now personally, it's a super fun deck to run. It has some consistency to it. It's not like the most consistent thing in the world. Like obviously if you want to run like a really competitive deck, you'd be running a 40 card variant, but I just wanted to see how Cyber Dragon and Lawn Mowing would work together. And personally, even if you don't open with Lawn Mowing, the deck can still make plays. It makes some pretty actually explosive plays. But as you can see here, the first replay I'm going to show you is Zoo versus 60 card Cyber Dragons. This guy kind of didn't know what he was doing with Zoo, but all in all, he still should have had the advantage. Let's go ahead and turn that down. So as you can see, he just goes right off into the Rat Pier, and I'm just gonna right away Maxx. This is the March 31st ban list, so I am only running one Maxx now, but I did open up two here because this was a replay beforehand. The deck is still this consistent though, which is really nice about it. Pretty much the deck, all it does is it runs like, it's Kaiju. It runs Electromagnetic Turtle, and its main goal is just to go into Infinity and Rampage and try to get Hope Harbinger out and stuff. But as you can see, I just won right there. So it was a pretty quick replay. Here's another Zodiac replay, same guy. So as you can see, I open up Lawn Mowing again and Regeki. I remember when I dueled him this, he was complaining about the fact that I opened up with Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. That's another thing with the March 31st ban list, is that I'm only running two Interrupteds. But as you can see, so I'm just going to go for it, and I actually attack for 400 and pass, and there's not a lot he can do about it with that draw. So I'm not sure, I don't understand why he didn't just activate this Barrage, but I guess he's just gonna, I would have probably gone into Zenmayo to pop the 2, and, you know, ended it. I decided to negate Tenki here just because of the fact that it was like, I thought that was the most important thing because he didn't activate Barrage, but he went and activated Barrage, but that's alright because he's going to pop my Infinity, but he can't destroy my core because, of course, I think he mistakenly put Dryden in defense position. But as you can see, I'm just going to go for game right here, for a perfect game. And then the last replay I'm going to show you is just this FTK right here. This was a Metal Foe, I believe this was Metal Foe Zodiac. So this guy definitely should have had the advantage, but I was able to get the FTK on him. So as you can see, he's just going to go off and off and off, and he's going to make, I think he goes to Dryden, but I'm not sure. Yeah. And he actually pulls it off with 1600, but that's, you know, definitely not even close to enough. So I'm just going to go ahead, and if you guys are confused why I summoned Cyber Dragon first and then played Interrupted, is because I wanted this guy in the graveyard so I could activate Repair Plan, because Repair Plan's effect is you must to activate this you must at least have one. To activate both, you have to have 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the Hope Harbinger play. I should have swung right there, but I really didn't need to because I was able to make some plays and just pop everything on his field and then just go for 3 attacks with Rampage, which is amazing. Because not only is Rampage a milling machine, but if you mill 2, he has 3 attacks. And then so I could have gotten game here, but he decided to quit right before he lost, so he was a loser. Alright guys, so now we're going to move on to the deck profile. This deck that you see in front of you is going to be a little bit different from the ones you've seen or you just saw in the replays, because the replays were taken before the March 31st ban list was at least announced. This is my modification to it. Excuse me. This is going to be a little bit, or this is conforming to the March 31st ban list. I was able to add some things by taking out like my extra Maxx that I can't run anymore now that this is limited, and by taking out my extra Interrupted, I was able to add an extra Twin Twisters and a Golden Jet. But let's get on to the deck profile. I'm just going to list everything in the deck. There will also be a list for everything, or there will also be a deck list in the description if you guys don't want to sit with this. Afterwards, I'll talk about combos and why, and my decisions why to run everything and what everything does. If you don't know, if you really want to learn the deck. For just listing it though, we run 3 copies of Cyber Dragon. If you're wondering why I'm running the 1 copy of the White Cyber Dragon and 2 copies of the Dark Cyber Dragon, I preferably like the Dark Cyber Dragons better, but I always just like to run 1 copy of the Light Cyber Dragon just for the little contrast. Makes the deck a little bit, in my opinion, just a little bit cooler, because you have options to search out, do I want the white one or do I want the black one. The best card in the deck, we run 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. Next up, we run 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Drei, which means 3 in German. We run 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Zwei, which is 2 in German. We run 1 copy of the Toon Cyber Dragon to go along with our little tiny 4-card Toon engine. We run a 3-card Galaxy Soldier engine, which is fantastic. It's I consider it an honorary Cyber Dragon. We run, for our Kaiju engine, 3 copies of Jizukiru the Star Destroying Kaiju. We run 2 copies of Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, and we run 1 copy of the Super Anti-Kaiju War Machine Mecha Dogoran. I'll explain my decision why instead of running 3 Gameciel, I ran the extra, I ran 2 Gameciel and 1 Super Anti. Next up, we run 2 copies of Honest since it is semi-limited, although probably even if it was at 3, I'd still probably run 2. 2 is a little bit much at times, so you might as well probably bump it down to 2, or bump it down to 1, I mean. We run the 1 copy of Chronomaly Golden Jet. We run the 1 copy of Electromagnetic Turtle. We run the 1 copy of Maxx because it is limited. If it was not limited, we would be running 2, or if it was not semi-limited, we'd be running 3. And I know there's a little 2 right here because I'm recording this on March 27th, I believe today is. So the March 31st ban list has not come out, so YGO Pro has not updated their status, which is the same reason why Interrupted Kaiju Slumber still appears to be at 3, even though it is at 2. So, like I said, the 1 Maxx. Then for spells, we run 3 copies of your Searcher card, Cyber Repair Plant. This is probably the best, one of the best spell cards besides that Grasslook Screener. We run 3 copies of Overload Fusion and only 2 copies of Power Bond. We run 2 copies of Machine Duplication. We run 2 copies of Interrupted because then I'd still be running it at 3, but it is semi-limited. We run the Heart and Soul of the deck, 3 copies of that Grasslook Screener, or the OCG named Lawn Mowing Next Door. We run 3 copies to search it, Left Arm Offering. This banishes your hand, searches out Lawn Mowing. We run 3 copies of the Toon Table of Contents to search all the other Toon Table of Contents, and then on your last Toon, search out Toon Cyber Dragon. We run 3 copies of Into the Void. We run 2 copies of Instant Fusion because you do only have 2 Instant Fusion targets. Where were we? Okay, Instant Fusion. And then for our one-offs, we run the 1 Regeki, the 1 Day of Peace, the 1 Soul Charge, the 1 Reasoning. As a staple, the Upstart Goblin, and the Limiter Removal. We also run 2 copies of Twin Twister for just a little bit more back row control, but there is already a lot of back row control, so these aren't staples of the deck. You can take these out and change them with whatever you want. Maybe put in a 3rd Instant Fusion, go more towards a Instant Fusion Theseus, get out Token, set a card, get out Crystal Wing. You could go for more of that, but this is a little bit more, just a tiny bit more budget. For the extra deck, we run the 1 Over Dragon, the 1 Twin Dragon, the 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons, because this is a great card for contacting, plus it shuts down ABCs. We run 2 copies of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, because this is a great card for back row control. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could pop 7 back row, or 7 cards in the back row, meaning you could pop both scales and all 5 back row. If you really needed to, you could just get rid of their entire back row, which is fantastic. Plus, this card can make 3 attacks. We run the one Parapsychroid and the one Panzer. This card, best card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, better than Larvae Moth. I'm gonna say it right here. We run the one copy of number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. There is a combo. You might be wondering how to get this out. There is a combo that you use the Kaijus in Fortress Dragon. If you don't already know, I'll explain it after I'm done with the deck profile. We run the 2 copies of Infinity and probably the best extra deck card, Cyber Dragon Nova. Not only can you revive a Cyber Dragon from the graveyard, but it lets you just slap the Infinity right on top of it, and then you can start absorbing and negating things, which is just awesome. It's great. Plus, I just want to say this next part, if your opponent, like Trap Holes, Solemn Strikes, Solemn Warning, Regeki, if this card gets destroyed by card effects in any way, you can special summon pretty much any machine type fusion monster that can be special summoned. Like, you can do Cyber Twin Dragon, Chimera Attack, Parapsychroid, Panzer. It's fantastic. Actually, let me read its actual effect. You can special summon one machine type fusion monster from the extra deck. So pretty much all of these. I'm pretty sure. I think there might be a restriction on it, but I'm not sure. And for our last cards that we run are just some rank 5 spam. We run the Wind Up Arsenal Zemaio for even more back row control. And Pleiades for bouncing, just in case you need to. You can bounce your own shit, you can bounce your opponent's stuff. So, for the side deck, this is not budget whatsoever. This is going to break your wallet, literally, in half. We run 2 copies of Flying Sea, 1 copy of Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, or Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, the 1 Twin Twisters just to complete the 3. We run the 2 copies, of Overworked. 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. This card is a $90 card, so buying all 3 is going to completely destroy you. So, highly don't recommend it, but I just threw a little generic side deck together just in case. We run the 3 copies of Solemn Strike, because Solemn Strike is that good of a card. And we run the 1 copy of Solemn Warning, because if this card was at 3, you would be running 3 main decking, probably. But it's at 1. Alright guys, that was the deck profile. Like I said at the beginning, the entire card list will be in the description. But I'm just going to go ahead and explain what each card does, reasons why I did it. So if you guys already know the Cyber Dragons, you can go ahead and get out of here. Click the like button before you leave, though. Don't forget. But if you don't know Cyber Dragons and you really want to learn the deck, here's the explanation. So if you don't know what the extra Cyber Dragon card does, pretty much as long as your opponent controls a monster and you control none, you can just special summon him to the field for a free late machine type level 5 21 beat stick. So really, really good card. I've seen decks that aren't even Cyber Dragon run Cyber Dragon, which is how good of a card it is. And it used to be like a staple when it came out in just every competitive deck, just because it was a free special summon, which didn't really exist back in the day. So, for the best card in the deck, and why I said it was the best card in the deck, Cyber Dragon Core, not only does his name become Cyber Dragon while in the hand, not in the hand, but not only is his name Cyber Dragon while on the field and graveyard, but when he's normal summoned, you can add a Cyber spell trap card from your deck to your hand, meaning this guy. And not only can you do that, but if he's in the graveyard, so let's say you normal summoned him in past, and he got destroyed by battle, next turn, you'll have no monsters in the field, your opponent will have something, you can actually banish him from your graveyard to special summon literally any of these 11 Cyber Dragons, which is fantastic. That's a free special summon, and it's literally anybody, although he doesn't get his effect, and he doesn't really have an effect. Anyways, you can make some really good combos, and it's just fantastic. It's a fantastic card. That's your combo maker right there. First, we run Cyber Dragon Drei 3 of, because he's not only is he Cyber Dragon like the same thing as Core on the field and the graveyard, but when he's normal summoned, any Cyber Dragon you control becomes level 5. So if you do control a Zwei, I would definitely reveal a spell card to make his name Cyber Dragon before normal summoning this guy. Otherwise, he will not become a level 5 with Drei and Core. And that brings us to Cyber Dragon Zwei. Zwei pretty much the only reason you run him is because you can ditch him with Galaxy Soldier or Twin Twisters, or he's probably going to get hit with the mill with that Grassing Screener, and he's just a good Cyber Dragon to be in your graveyard. Plus, he's just Cyber Dragon, and he's Cyber Dragon along with, you know, all these 11. He's the out of the 4 of these, he's the worst Kaiju. He's the worst Cyber Dragon, but out of the other Cyber Dragons that exists, are out of the worst Cyber Dragons, which would be Zwei, Proto, Laser, and Barrier, he's the best. So that's why you run him, and not Laser, Barrier, Proto, because those are awful Cyber Dragons. They just suck. And then we run the one Toon Cyber Dragon for, like I said, a little bit of deck thinning with the Toon engine. Now, if you don't know how the Toon engine works, pretty much you would just draw into one Toon table of contents. Hopefully you don't draw into all 3, because that would be a bricked hand, and you might as well just quit the duel right there. But you can go ahead and activate one Toon table of contents, and when you activate that one, you search out another one. And then you activate that one to search out a third one. And then on your third one, you activate it to search out Toon Cyber Dragon, which greatly thins your deck. So I even run this my 40 card build just for a little bit of deck thinning, just so I eventually see more of those cards. It's kind of like running one card with 4 copies in being able to draw all 4 at once almost. It's really, really good. We run the 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier because not only can he be special summoned by ditching a light monster, but when he is special summoned by any ways, meaning even, or let's say he is special summoned through Reasoning or through Soul Charge, there it is, you search out a Galaxy Soldier. Now you can only search once per turn, but you can special summon him using his effect as many times as you can, as long as you have a light monster to ditch. So he is an honorary Cyber Dragon in my book, and he's literally at 3 a staple. You should not run any lower unless you're playing casual. Then we run our I already kind of explained this, but I'm going to go ahead and explain the Hope Harbinger play. Pretty much what you do is the play consists of 1 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and a Cyber Dragon that can be normal summoned, meaning Core, Drei, and if you are using Zwei, you have to have an extra spell card to reveal, which is not the end of the world because we're running more spells than monsters. So, pretty much, we'll use Drei as an example. So all it takes is Drei and Interrupted, and your opponent to at least have 1 monster in the field. So you go ahead and you activate Interrupted Kaiju, destroys, dark holes everything. So now the field is clear, and what you're going to go ahead and do is special summon Gameciel to your field, and Jizukiru to their field, which is kind of weird. You're giving them the stronger Kaiju, but the reason you're doing that is because Jizukiru is a machine-type monster. So then you go ahead and you normal summon Drei, and what you do is you contact with Jizukiru and Drei to bring out a 2000 attack Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. So at that point, if they don't really have any spell or trap cards, you can just go ahead and swing for 4200 damage, which is huge. That's half their life points right there. And then what you can do is that because Gameciel is a level 8 and Chimera Type Fortress Dragon is a level 8, you can go ahead and overlay into Hope Harbinger during your main phase 2, and now you have something that can absorb spells and negate them, which is great. Plus it has that effect of if you control another XYZ monster on the field, you can detach, and then it's attacked, you can detach and change the attack target to Hope Harbinger, which will really save your Infinity or your Pleiades or your Zamayo, which is great. Plus it's a 3000 beater, so it's pretty hard to get over. So that's the Kaiju engine, and the reason I run the Anti-Kaiju is because it can be searched off of Repair Plant. So if you have like an Interrupted Graveyard, you can use its Banish effect to banish and search a Kaiju, and you can like search Jizukiru, and then you can Cyber Repair Plant to search out Super Anti-Kaiju. This guy will have zero attack because he gains you have to like equip Kaijus to it, so it's really weird. Once per turn, you can remove 2 Kaijus from anywhere in the field and equip 1 Kaiju monster from your hand or graveyard to this card. And there is no Kaiju counters anywhere in the field because we don't run the field spell. Huh. Would that work? I don't think so, right? That would be stupid to run the field spell or anything else that gets Kaiju counters. Be honest, because 90% of the monsters in this deck, literally the only monsters in this deck that aren't light are Gameciel and Maxx. Everything else is a light monster, so everything else you can utilize Honest Effect, which is fantastic. Plus there's 2 of them, so you can even double Honest over your opponent and go for even more damage. So like if you Jizukiru over something, and then you like double honest, and like they have like 2,100 attack. Boom, that's 4,000 attack direct, which is great. Next up, we run the Chronomaly Golden Jet because of the fact that you activated the fact you can get into Pleiades a lot easier. We run the Electromagnetic Turtle because like it's pretty much the same reason we run Zwei, because you ditch him off a Galaxy Soldier, you can ditch him off of Twin Twisters, and you can sometimes you hit him with that grass looks greener, and it saves your monsters, it saves your life points. It's a great card to run. The only problem is it says once per duel. If it wasn't once per duel, we'd probably be running 2 to 3. The Maxx, even though it's at 1 now, you can I'd still run it just because of the fact that it's going up against Zoo with a Maxx in hand. You just Maxx and then they just special summon, special summon, special summon, and you draw, and then you have an established hand, and you're like, wow, these guys have no chance, just like you saw in the replays. We run the Cyber Repair Plant because it's the Searcher. If you don't know what it does, you have to have 1 Cyber Dragon to activate one of the effects. If you have 3 Cyber Dragon, you activate both effects in sequence. Meaning, let's say you have 3 Cyber Dragons in your grave, you have to add, then recycle. And the reason you can't do it in the other way is because if you recycle and then add, you can add the recycled monster. And they don't want you doing that with Repair Plan. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit too good, but it wouldn't have been like tier 0 meta. Maybe at the time. We run through, and now here's probably what a lot of you are confused on. Why am I running 3 Overload Fusion over, like, 2 Power Bond? Because normally people run more Power Bond than Overload Fusion, or an equal amount. Personally, Power Bond's just a fun card in this deck. It can win you duels, but you don't really use it. In fact, you could actually probably put Power Bond down to 1, but I would keep Overload Fusion at 3, because if you open up with Lawn Mowing and Overload Fusion, you're almost guaranteed a Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Almost guaranteed it. Unless you get a really unlucky mill. And where were we? Okay, and then Power Bond is just a super secky card. It can get you an OTK, it can get you the FTK even. It's, heart and soul. Every Cyber Dragon deck has run it, except for, that one that Yu-Gi-Oh! Made with the token, Michael, Crystal Wing. You could also put the whole Synchro thing in this deck. I just didn't really feel like it because, Crystal Wing is a $30 card, and I don't feel like spending that money. We run the double Machine Dupe because if you don't know the combo, Normal Summon Core's name becomes just Cyber Dragon, then it's targetable by Machine Dupe, and the only cards in the deck that have the same name as Cyber Dragon, or Core right here, is these guys, meaning you special summon 2 level 5 Cyber Dragons to the field, and boom, you have a Nova, you have a Pleiades, you have a Zamayo. Or you can contact with all of them, and let's say your opponent's running ABCs, contact with all that shit. Let's just say they actually have like 5 monsters in the field and they're all machine types, and you special summon, or you normal summon Core, Machine Dupe, 2 Cyber Dragons, you can contact with all of them and get an 8,000 beater, or an 8,000 Chimera Tech beater on the field. Where were we? Okay, and Interrupted, it's just self-explanatory. It's a dark hole that special summons 2 Kaijus, 1 to your field, 1 to your opponent's field. I already explained the Kaiju, or the Hope Harbinger combo. You can also just use it as Interrupted Kaiju was meant to. Special summon the 33 to your field and the 22 to their field and attack over it. Sadly, since this guy isn't just a complete, just normal Kaiju, you can't use it to, wait, that's weird. So when I'm dueling normally on YGO Pro with this, when I activate Kaiju Slumber, it won't let me summon this to the field, but it will let me, I can't special summon this to my opponent's field and special summon this to my field. Otherwise, that would be a free 33 direct, which would be fantastic, because this is the lowest attack Kaiju that there is. But when I banish it from the graveyard, I can actually search this, I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. If someone wants to explain that ruling, go ahead. There's the comments section down below. But anyways, so because this is just an instant dark hole, you can get attack, you can go into Hope Harbinger, swing for 42. It's a fantastic card. Plus you can banish it to search another Kaiju, so you can, get rid of that pesky ABC, or the capacity was that invoked card, invoked Mecha Bar or something, and get rid of that thing, as long as they don't negate your Interrupted Kaiju. Or not, as long as they don't negate your Slumber, I mean. Oh wait, the same thing. 3 copies of Lawn Mowing because it mills until you have equal cards, so by running a 60 card deck, going up against a 40 card deck is great. Now, if you do go up against another 60 card deck user, you're not screwed, they're probably screwed, because even without using Lawn Mowing, this deck can still make pretty explosive plays, which is what I like about it. And then the left arm offering, it's pretty much literally just to search this, although I've searched Instant Fusion, I've searched Raigeki, I've even searched Overload Fusion before. I've actually also searched Interrupted Kaiju Slumber too. So this card has multiple uses, the only problem is you can't set and you have to banish. 3 Toon Table of Contents, just because, you know, deck thinning. The 3 Into the Void, because consistency, you want to see this as fast as you can, you want to see this as fast as you can, you want to see this as fast as you can, you want to see this as fast, you want to see things. And this is going to help you see those things. Plus, discarding a Cyber Dragon, not the end of the world. We run the 2 Instant Fusion for our 2 Instant Fusion targets. Panzer, by the way, I didn't say this the first time around, but Panzer means tank in German, I'm pretty sure, so that says Tank Dragon in German, which is what leads me to believe that this Panzer Dragon actually belongs with Cyber Dragons, which is what I like about it. And then Parapsychroid, like I said, best card in the game. There's no card that can beat a Parapsychroid. The one, and then just, you know, you have some more board wipe, you have some damage reducer, plus a draw, you know, for consistency. Soul Charge, if you open up Lawn Mowing and Soul Charge, oh my god, boom, boom, boom. You might be taking 5,000 damage, but you open up with a great field. We run the Reasoning because even if they call it right, like let's say they call 2 or 4 or 5 and it gets milled, that makes Repair Plant active, which, so there's no really downside to this card. I mean, preferably you want the special summon, but, you know, it's alright if they call it. We run the 1-Up Goblin for consistency, because even if we give you 1,000 life points, we're going to take it away just as fast. The Limiter Removal, because this can get you gains, it's super sacky, just like Power Bond. Power Bond plus this card equals insane amounts of attack. 10,000 attack twice with Cyber Twin, that's crazy. And then we run the 2 Twin Twisters for back row control. It's not like, you know, we already have enough back row control with Zenmayo, Twin Twisters, and Rampage Dragon. Which, you know, leads me to, I want to say this, you don't have to run Zenmayo. You know, I just like running it because I have the secret rare one, so it's fun to run. But, like, you could run, what is it, 65? No, is it 56? No, what is it? It's, Volcasaurus. 61, my bad. And you could run this if you wanted to. It's decent. It's not the best. It does a little bit of burn damage. Again, like I said, you could probably run the Synchro in here, you know, do the skin. You could run this guy, and with Crystal. And then, you know, get him out. You could also run you could run this guy, Barbaroid, because if Nova gets Solemned or Trap Hold or, you know, some way that destroys him by effect, even Raigeki, before you can go into Infinity, you can actually activate his effect and special summon any fusion machine type monster, including Barbaroid, which is why I like him. Plus, Barbaroid can attack twice. If he destroys something by battle, he can, or if he destroys a monster by battle, you inflict 1,000 life points to your opponent. You can attack twice, although he can't attack directly, which kind of sucks, but he's a 4,000, which is fantastic. Alright, where was I? Twin Twister for back row control. And then Overdragon, just to be in there, like I said, you could probably replace Twin Twisters or Chimera Tech Overdragon or even Zenmayo with Barbaroid, or use the whole Synchro aspect to it. The Twin, Saki with Power Bond. Fortress, shuts down ABCs, makes your play with Hope Harbinger. Rampage, back row control, attack 3 times, so if you, especially if you can get this out with Power Bond, that's 4,200 3 times to the face. That's game, most of the time. Parapsychroid, because it's the best card in the game, in all of EVA, you heard me right. Panzer Dragon, just because it belongs, plus it's a good level 5 fusion, and you can target it with instant fusion, make plays with Nova, or let it die, pop a card. Hope Harbinger Dragon, I already explained the play. Infinity for negate, Nova, because not only do you have the revive of Cyber Dragon, not only do you have Slap and Infinity on top, but if your opponent decides to solemn it without reading Nova's effect, or, you know, Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike, I don't know, what else? Raigeki, Dark Hole, Interrupt Kaiju Slumber, anything that destroys it by effect, just bring out, you could bring up Barbroid. In fact, you know, I'm really debating about putting a Barbroid in here because it's just that good of a card. And then, like I said, Symbiotic back row control, Pleiades for pop. Now, I'm not going to explain the side deck because it's, you know, just general knowledge. Strike, you know, get rid of a monster summon. Warning, get rid of anything that would summon. D-Barrier, get rid of extra deck. Overworked, get rid of monster with higher attack. Twin Twisters back row control. Effect Failure, get rid of effect. I guess I am going through it. This guy, I'm pretty sure, does something with effects. I don't know, I just put him in here because he's good, and I have one. Flying Sea, gets rid of XYZs. So, that's the 60 card Cydra deck. Now, if you guys made it to the end, go ahead and slap that like button, let me know you made it to the end. It's a pretty good feat. I just talked for super long amount of time, and I'm tired. But yeah, so if you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and go check out our channel. Go check out our Instagram page, go check out our Twitter, go check out, yeah, so just go ahead, all the links will be in the description. Go look at the description, there's always something written there. Anyways, guys, thank you so much, especially if you made it to the end of this video, and I will see you guys in a future video, I guess. See ya!